Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to look at how to use Excel to calculate the standard deviation of a given data set. Now, you can see here, by the way, if you want to learn how to calculate the standard deviation manually, and you can watch the lecture video I posted on the Blackboard. And in that video, I break down the whole process into 6 steps to calculate the standard deviation of a sample. Now, here's the formula of the standard deviation calculation using a sample. But in this video, I only show you how to use Excel function, standard deviation function, to calculate the standard deviation. So let's get to it. And it's very straightforward, very simple. Type equal sign, then you type STD. Say we have several different functions show up. And the first one, if you look at it carefully, stdev dot p. This p represents population. So if you look at their brief description here, this function will calculate the standard deviation based on the entire population. And if I click on the second one, which has .s at the end of the function, it says estimates standard deviation based on a sample. A sample is a small fraction of the population. If you do anything, if you calculate anything using population data, there will be no error. As long as your calculation itself is correct, you're going to get the exact answer. But if you're using a sample to represent the population, there will be error. It's just a matter of how big the error is. So if you recall, when you see those statistics posted in the newspaper or on TV, at the end, they always mention the margin of error of that statistic, right? The reason for that is because they use a sample. Okay, in our course, in this 2-hour course, you always use this .s standard deviation function in Excel to do your calculation. Don't use the first one, even though the first one is always highlighted automatically. So use this .s one. Okay. So I just select my data and enter. So this standard deviation is 1.58, 114. There's many more digits actually, depend on how many digits you want to have. You just round it to that digit number of digits required. And don't forget the purpose of this measurement is to measure the dispersion of the data set, how dispersed a data set is, without looking at the data set, actually. That's why we need this measurement. So let's do the second calculation to see what we get. STD, select this .s, select the data set, and close the parentheses, and enter. Now, if you look at that, the second one is 10 times as large as the first one. This is a good measurement if you look at the data. The second students, by the way, the 5 numbers represent 5 test scores. We just have 2 different students, but same 5 tests. So if you look at second students' numbers, they are pretty much dispersed, scattered around, fluctuate a lot, right? But the first students very stable. They're all very close to each other, around 80, right? So standard deviation is a way to measure fluctuation of your data set. We can also say to measure the spread of your data set, to measure the dispersion of your data set. They all mean the same thing. So we call it a standard deviation. Okay, that's all for this video. See you guys in the next one.